Hey guys, it's Tweak here from the Mulligan, and I've got another Booster Tutor for you today. This week we'll be going through the Aether Revolt booster and just getting some thoughts on how best to sort of draft this one. So let's get stuck straight into this one, guys. So our first card off the top is Precise Strike. Now it's an instant, 1 drop for a red. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. So definitely not worth writing this card off if you're missing combat tricks, but not a sort of first pick there. Next up, we're looking at Aether Swooper. So he's a 2 cost, a colorless, and a blue. He has flying, and when he enters the battlefield, he generates 2 energy. When he attacks, you may pay 2 energy if you do create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. So not too powerful of a card there. The energy trade-off probably isn't too great because it makes a servo and not a Thopter, but not a horrible card. Next up, we're looking at Alley Evasion. So it's a 1 drop for a white, happens at instant speed, and then you get to choose one. So it's one of these modular sort of cards. Target creature gets +1/+2 until end of turn, or return target creature you control to its owner's hand. So a good combat trick if you need to save a creature during that draft, especially your bombs that are going to be really important to you. But probably wouldn't be the first pick from me. Next up, we're looking at 4th Bridge Prowler. He's a 1 drop for 1 black. He has, when he enters the battlefield, you may have target creature get -1/-1 until end of turn, and he's a 1/1 himself. So not a bad card for black to kill off some of those servos, or to help kill off a creature after an interesting sort of combat phase. Probably wouldn't be the first pick from me, but who knows. Next up, we've got Aether Herder. So he's a 4 drop, 3 colorless, and a green. When he enters the battlefield, he gives 2 energy, and when he attacks, you may pay 2 energy if you do create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token, and he's a 3/3. So it's not too bad a card, it's probably better than Aether Swooper, but again, that energy trade-off, just generating enough energy to create 1 servo, may not be the best thing. If you're in an energy theme though, it's always good to have different outlets for your energy, different ways to spend it. Next up, we've got Aether Poisoner. So this one's a 2 drop. A colorless and a black, has Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, it gives off 2 energy, and when it attacks, you may pay 2 if you do create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token, and it's a 1/1 itself. So this card is probably a bit better than the other energy generators we've seen so far, in that it has Death Touch. Again, Aether Herder probably would have been a bit better if it had Trample in line with green, but it doesn't, so probably looking at Aether Poisoner over Aether Herder at this stage. Next up, we're looking at Foundry Assembler. He's a 5 drop, 3/3, has the Improvise built in, so your artifacts can help you cast this spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for 1. So if you're playing in an artifact heavy deck, this card might be alright, but not terribly good. Not going to sort of change the board state too much for you there. Next up, we've got Implement of Improvement. It's a 1 drop. It's just a regular artifact, has pay 1 white, sacrifice it, you gain 2 life, and when it's put it in the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. So a very nice card in white there, worth noting, because you're going to have white to be able to activate its abilities, but very cool card there in that it gains you 2 life and draws you a card for the investment of 2 mana, so nice card. Next up, we've got Sweatworks Brawler. So he's a 4 drop, 3 colorless and a red, has Improvise so you can use your artifacts to help pay for him, has Menace, and he's a 3/3. So I really like this card. Menace is always fun to play with because it sort of makes your opponent really think about how they're going to block and how they're going to sort of keep themselves alive, and forces them to keep an extra unit back. The Improvise bringing this cost down is just fantastic. 4 drop for a 3/3 Menace is okay. 1 drop for a 3/3 Menace is fantastic. So our first uncommon is Daredevil Dragster. At the end of combat, if Daredevil Dragster attacked or blocked this combat, put a velocity counter on it. Then if it has 2 or more velocity counters on it, sacrifice it and draw a card. It's got a crew cost of 2, and it's a 3 cost for a 4/4. So this is a nice card, I think, in that it can get in for some damage or trade or kill stuff. But then if you can keep it alive long enough, draw 2 cards off the back of it. So nice sort of trade-off there. Next up, we've got Ironclad Revolutionary. So he's a 6 drop, and a 4/4. So for 4 colorless and 2 black, when he enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice an artifact. Sorry. If you do, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Ironclad Revolutionary, and each opponent loses 2 life. So it might be sort of a niche card to help you win using a black deck. Probably wouldn't be a first pick from me, but if you really need to close out that game, just dropping that 2 life off your opponent is okay. Next up, we've got Spire Patrol. So he's a 4-drop, 2 colorless, a white and a blue for a 3/2, has flying, and when he enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So nice card with that one. Really enjoy sort of controlling the game out. So I would definitely be looking at this one rather favourably. And our rare for the pack is Tezzeret the Schemer. So without even saying, this is probably going to be the pick for the pack. He's a 4-drop, 5 loyalty planeswalker. Creates a colorless artifact token named Ethereum Cell with tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Has -2 where target creature gets +X, -X until end of turn, where X is the number of artifacts you control. And then his -7 ability is you get an emblem with at the beginning of combat on your turn. Target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with a base power and toughness of 5/5. So it will sort of force you into that blue-black color and into that artifact theme, but he's a nice sort of card to have. Ignoring him and being in other colors, you're probably looking at Devil Dragster out of this pack or Spire Patrol, but hard to pass up a Tezzeret. And we've also got a foil in Invigorated Rampage. So it's a 2-drop instant, a colorless and a red. It's another modular card, so choose one. Target creature gets +4/+0 and gains trample until end of turn, or target creature gets +2/+0. Sorry, 2 target creatures get +2/+0 and gain trample until end of turn. So if you're in that red-green or even just mono-red sort of colors, this is a very nice card. Help you close out some of the games there. And there's those 2 ones, guys.
And a pretty easy pick for this pack, guys, in Tezzeret the Schemer. He's an excellent card, too hard to pass up a Planeswalker. Has an excellent rate at being a 4-drop, 2 colorless and a black and a blue with that 5 loyalty. He gives you a card type advantage in Planeswalker. Other people playing at your draft aren't going to have that Planeswalker, so very cool there. He can protect himself the turn he comes out, which is always a fantastic ability in good Planeswalkers. He has ramp access, which is just fantastic, and you just do not want your opponents to have this. If you're in blue, in any sort of form of blue, you're definitely splashing black for this. If you're in black, again, any form, you splash in blue. It is just the card out of this pack to take. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.